gorgeous Leos. Doesn't time fly? We are here, and this is mid-April 2025. Now, Leo, in meditation, I saw somebody smoothing out the plans of a property. The paper looked used. It didn't look brand new. So I feel, Leo, this is a property that you already own. And I feel that you're wanting to change a few things around. I actually saw somebody with a pencil and a rubber and a ruler, just looking at what they could do to divide the rooms. They were also looking at an outside area to see whether they could extend. I also saw somebody looking at a sort of triangle shape, which I think might have been an attic area. I don't know whether or not you have an attic in your house, but there was a sense of, could we do anything with the attic space? Now, either, Leo, you are considering making changes to your property to increase its value. You may be trying to squeeze in an extra bedroom. So later on, if you're selling it, you could list it as a 4-bedroom property, not a 3-bedroom property, something like that. You're going to be doing something rather inventive in order to get more out of what you already have. Either because you want to create space because of an addition in the family, it could be somebody's permanently living with you later on, it could be an elderly parent, it could be a child. Or, Leo, you're simply doing it, as I said, to increase the value of a property. Well, it's a bit of a waste having this enormous garden. We could actually fit another large bedroom onto the side of the house to make it a 4-bedroom house, right? You're doing something, Leo, to create more out of what you already have. Biggest message coming through. Now, guys, you could be expanding a business, but I feel we are dealing with space, dividing up space to create more. Okay, guys, I'm repeating myself. Let's get into this. Before you get bored. Now, the deck that I'm using is the Vintage Tarot. As you know, guys, all the decks are listed. The link is there to join as a member. I put out weekly videos every Sunday just for my members. Membership's $5.99 a month. And if you want to book a reading with me, Leo, you are welcome to do that. The link is down below. All right, Leo. Here we go, guys. Let's just see what comes through. Expansion is on your mind, Leo. The 9 of Swords. Okay. You may be having some sleepless nights about doing this, or you may be doing this for someone who's stressed. This could be, Leo, anyone from an elderly parent who's frail, and you may be thinking, okay, I think we should try and build something, an extra room for an elderly parent because we need to take care of them in the house, right? They can't live on their own anymore. You might be in your head about a child. It could be a child can't afford to pay their rent or their mortgage, and you're thinking, okay, if we build an extension, we're at least going to be able to live under the same roof without being under each other's feet. There's something to do with that. King of Cups. There's a lot of love for the situation. You're doing this out of the kindness of your heart, Leo, which tells me you're doing this for someone. In the past, Judgment. In the past, Leo, you may have needed to make a really serious decision, or there might have been a conversation, a very serious conversation with a Sagittarian. After that time, Leo, 6 of Swords. If there were any issues within a family situation, Leo, you managed to move things to calmer waters, but it was after, I'm hearing putting the facts on the table, and it was after a lot of careful thought. How am I going to manage this, right? What you're thinking about, guys, is the 6 of Wands. You feel that if you do this, Leo, it's going to reap rewards. You're going to feel a sense of victory. So if this is you, Leo, thinking, oh gosh, you know, an elderly parent is out in the sticks living on their own, we can't afford to put them into care, but we could actually build an extension. What you're thinking about is not only is it going to add to the value of the house, but your elderly parent can actually move in with you. It's manageable. You're no longer going to be stressed, feeling as if they're coping on their own. You could be, Leo, thinking to yourself, if this is about a child, you're wanting to make sure that this child can support themselves. This could be a child returning home after being made redundant, or this is a child that is struggling financially. You're trying to find a way of creating extra space for someone that you care about, because what you're realizing is you have space you can use to do this, to sort of make everyone happy. In the immediate future, guys, the King of Swords. All right, you're getting serious, Leo. I could be connecting with a masculine. You're getting serious. You may be getting quotes for the work. You may even be going to a realtor, estate agent, and saying, okay, if we converted the attic or if we added a bedroom, how much would that increase the value of the property? You're getting really serious here, guys. Yes. In your fears, Page of Wands, fearing that someone here is not going to be happy. Could be a child. I don't know, Leo, I shouldn't laugh. I don't know whether or not you're planning on telling a child of yours that already lives with you that grandma's going to be moving in permanently, or grandpa's going to be living above them or next to them on this annex. I'm not sure. You're worried, Leo, someone is not going to play ball. In the environment is the Fool. Okay. You might be communicating with an Aries, or someone, Leo, is saying to you, I'm not sure you should do this. It's a bit risky. I don't know why they would suggest that. It may be this is someone who feels that it's going to cost a lot of money to do this, and it may not actually add a lot more onto the value of the house, as in, are we pouring money into a black hole? This could be somebody who's saying to you, I don't like the thought of somebody else coming and living in our house. It would be an invasion of our privacy. I don't think we need to do this. Someone is pushing against this a little bit, Leo. But look at your energy. You're turning your back. It's as if, no, I've made my decision. And it's because you care about someone here, Leo, who's stressing out, who's very worried. In your hopes, hoping to bring balance to a situation that is obviously unbalanced. So that is why you're doing this, Leo. You're trying to balance something out. And the outcome, guys, the Tower. Why do we have a Tower? Clarification for you, Four of Swords. You've been stressed out thinking about something here, Leo. You've been thinking about the Wheel of Fortune. So you have been stressed out either because you're sitting in a property that you could do a lot with, but up until now it's just been a thought, because either you're going to have to pour money into this, or it's going to create a lot of chaos in a house environment, moving furniture, right? If you're doing a big extension, builders are going to be around. It's going to be a bit chaotic. You're stressed though, Leo, because you do want to somehow shift into a new cycle in a family dynamic to make sure everything's balanced. Now, whoever, Leo, is saying to you, I think this is a bit risky, their energy. Okay, the Four of Pentacles. What they're worried about, Leo, is it's going to cost a lot of money to do this. So, guys, I think you're coming through as a masculine. What you're worried about is potentially your partner or someone that you're living with who you might be supporting is going to say no. They're clutching hold of Four Pentacles, thinking, Leo, this might be a money pit. But they may also, in the nicest sense, Leo, be sat in a little bit of greed, right? No, I don't want anyone else living in our house, even though I know someone here is stressed out, because they've got to move or they can't afford to stay where they are. This is someone who may be just a little bit too conscious about hanging on to money. It can be the miser card. I don't really want to say that. But Leo, you're dealing with somebody who is super, super cautious. Super cautious. Whereas, guys, I think you are happy to think outside the box because you believe something has to be done here. Yeah, the Queen of Pentacles. So, Leo, the Queen of Pentacles isn't happy about doing this. This could be your wife. This could be somebody who lives under your roof right now. I have to say, they're very financially stable. This is someone who's all about the money in the nicest sense. They might not like spending money. They may be one of these people that, you know, worry all the time about money. Leo, what you're trying to get through to this person is, okay, you're going to have to spend money on doing this, but ultimately it's going to increase the value of the property that they're sitting on, that they own, possibly joint own with you. So in the long run, this is actually a very wise financial decision. But they're still a bit skittish. They're still a bit skittish. Okay, guys, underneath the deck, we have the Six of Cups. Leo, you may be looking back at your childhood, if this is you now taking care of an elderly parent, or you may be looking back at your children growing up, thinking, I care about my child or children, they're struggling right now. This feels really imbalanced because we're sitting in this big property that we don't need, and they are struggling paying their rent or their mortgage. So you may be helping out an older child here. You're sitting in nostalgia, Leo. The Knight of Cups. You have a lot of love for someone. You want to make sure someone here is safe and happy. And yes, it relates to the Four of Wands, which can be a property. So you are making changes to a structure, a property. So guys, I don't think this is adding on to a career or something. I think this is an actual building. You are doing something to increase space, to help a member, I feel, of your family feel safe, and so they can sort of get back on their feet. And you feel this is the best course of action. Now, Leo, I don't know whether or not you're planning on creating space for somebody to actually move in, or you're creating space to increase the value of the property in order to sell it and give maybe some of the proceeds to someone who needs the cash. I don't know. You could be doing that too. What is slightly worrying is we have the Tower. So there might be something shocking that happens relatively soon, which you're going to have to manage. So guys, you're thinking of someone, I think, who is stressed out. I think this is the person that's stressed out that you want to help in some way. Could be a child, male or female, could be an elderly parent. You know this person is worried and stressing. You care about this person. You're coming through as the King of Cups and the King of Swords, okay? You care about this person and you're coming up with some kind of strategy to help them. That's what I feel. What else is on your mind, Leo? The Knight of Swords. All right. There might have been a testy argument with someone. There might have been an argument. All right, Knight of Pentacles, because, Leo, you may have said to this person, we can help you financially, or yes, you know, we can give you more money if you're struggling a little bit. But Leo, that hasn't happened. Now, I don't know whether or not it hasn't happened because you literally can't afford it now, or whether or not you changed your mind. But there might have been an argument about this. I mean, Leo, this might be your elderly mum saying, well, you know, you said that you would be able to build an annex for me in your house, but you haven't done it. Why haven't you done it? I'm your mother, right? I'm struggling here. I don't want to live on my own anymore. Whatever this was, there was an argument, Leo, because money wasn't forthcoming or a sense of financial support couldn't be offered to someone here. And there might have been an uncomfortable feeling developing within a family unit. Oh gosh, you know, my elderly mum's really upset because we said we'd help her financially. We said she could move into the house, but we haven't even started building the annex yet. Something relating to that, Leo. And so what you're realizing is things have now got to the point where you've got to do something on a practical basis. Yeah, 10 of Wands. Yeah, 10 of Wands. It's just too much, Leo. It's too much. You're either thinking of an elderly parent who's upset with you and you can't bear it, or you're realizing that another family member or even an older child of yours, Leo, can't support themselves. And you're thinking, I know I've been pushing this back and pushing this back. You're going to be okay. You're going to be all right financially, we're sure. But now you're realizing they're not. And you may be having to deal with a very awkward communication session with a child who's very upset, right? Dad, I can't afford to pay my rent. Is it that you don't want me to come home? Is it you don't want me to live with you again? I find that upsetting and insulting. This could be someone who is beginning to feel very anxious. What is your energy in this, Leo? Yeah, you're the Emperor, so you're taking charge. I mean, this is husband, father energy. What are you thinking about? Ace of Pentacles, all right. So, Leo, this is either you thinking, I've got to create more out of what I've already got, or you're thinking, once I've added this extension on or converted the attic, it's going to increase the value of the property. We can sell the property and then we can give quite a large amount of money to somebody here who needs it. Or you may be deciding to stay in a property that you're adding onto to create space for somebody else to move in, whilst knowing that if you do add on to the property, it's also going to increase the value of the property later on down the line. You're just being very savvy, Leo, but you're realizing now that this has to be done. This has to be done. So let's have a look at Judgment. What is Judgment in the past? You did make a serious decision, or you could have had a conversation with a Sag. Okay. You might have had a very strong pushback from someone. The World. Okay. Leo, why do I feel this might be someone that you spoke to ask their help? This could be, Leo, you as a head of a family ringing your sister, right, who might live in another city, another state, and say to your sister, look, you know, would you be able to put up grandma? Or would you be happy to have our elderly dad living with you? And you may have had a sharp pushback. Yeah, no, sorry, don't really want to deal with that. Or I don't have enough room in the house. No. You went to somebody in the past, Leo, but you didn't get the response that you wanted. So what you did, I think, was just try to smooth over the waters with the person who needed help. I'm sure you're going to be okay. We're here thinking about you. But you didn't do anything on a practical basis, Leo. And this person knew it. And I think recently there's been a rather difficult conversation where this person said, okay, Leo, what are you going to do? I can't be here anymore. I can't afford to stay here anymore, right? So even though you calmed the waters with this person, Leo, in the immediate past, what you're realizing now, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. So what happened in the immediate past? Lots of communication. 8 of Wands, trying to put this person's mind at rest that they were going to be okay, that you were there to support them. What was your energy in the immediate past, Leo? Yeah, 7 of Cups, trying to find other ways of making this person happier. I don't know, guys. If this is an elderly parent, you may have said to them, look, we'll come up and visit you a lot more often, or we can help you out paying your utility bills. We don't want you to stress, right? You try to find little ways of making them feel that you cared, whilst, in the nicest sense, Leo, hanging on to your money. Hanging on to your money. What were you thinking about in the immediate past? Yeah. Leo, you tried to balance things out as best you could, but this was still an unequal give and take situation. This is you knowing that whoever was struggling here understood that you were sitting in a big property, or you were sitting on quite a lot of money, but you weren't, in the nicest sense, helping them to the point where they thought you should, right? Oh, okay, says your elderly mom, you don't want to spend money on building an annex for me in your house, so you're just going to let me sit here and suffer. It was difficult, Leo, whatever this was. What you're thinking about now is you feel you've come up with the ideal solution. You feel everybody's going to be happy with this. You feel this is the right thing for you to do. And you're not actually going to be losing money, because whatever you're spending money on building, whatever extension you put on or whatever you're converting, is going to add value to the property, right? What are you saying to yourself here? 7 of Wands. If people say we don't agree, if someone says no, it's too risky, or no, I don't think we should spend this money, you're basically going to say to them, I'm sorry, but the decision is already made. You're not going back on this, Leo. What else are you thinking about? Yeah, because with the 5 of Wands, this has now become a problem. This has now become a problem. An elderly parent is very upset with you and you can't bear it. Or a child feels as if they're not welcome to come back home when they really need to. And again, as a parent, it breaks your heart. What you're thinking about is this cannot carry on like this. This can't carry on like this. No. Ace of Swords, that's the truth. You know something on a concrete basis has to be done. We've got to build an extension for this person to move in with us, or we've got to build something onto the house to increase its value so that we can sell it for more money than it's worth now, and we can give that excess cash to the person who really needs it. You're doing it for one of 2 reasons. All right. In the immediate future, you are communicating with someone who is a Queen of Pentacles. Now, for some of you, Leo, this could be your wife, or this could be an older woman living in the property with you. She's sitting on quite a lot of financial stability. She's very keen not to spend too much money on this project. And what she's saying to you is, I think this is a bit risky. As in, I don't think we should do this. But in the nicest sense, Leo, this is somebody who is very conscious about keeping hold of as much money as possible. You're turning your back in the nicest sense and saying to this person, I'm sorry, but we're doing this. I'm sorry, but we're doing this. We have to. So Archangel Michael, when do we have the King of Swords and the Fool for my Leos? Thank you, Michael. June. 3rd of June, he's pointing forward to September. All right. Leo, you may know that it's going to take at least 3 months to do the work, to convert the attic, to put on an extension into the garden for an extra bedroom. Whatever you're doing here is going to take at least 3 months. You may decide to put plans in place now or next month to start in the month of June. Let's have a look and see what you're saying to this Queen of Pentacles. Could be your wife, you know, could be somebody else living with you. Yes, what you're saying to this Queen of Pentacles is, look, we have to work in partnership because this situation cannot continue. This situation cannot continue because it's toxic. Because it's toxic. You may be saying to her, look, we have an elderly parent who is struggling. We can't just leave them. Or we have a child who can't afford to pay their rent because they were made redundant. We can't just say, sorry, darling, you know, as parents, we don't have the money to help you when we're sitting in this beautiful big 3-bedroom house. It's just not fair. It's not right. We have to do this. What else are you saying to this Queen of Pentacles? You're heartbroken, Leo. You are heartbroken because you're somehow understanding that this person who's suffering is very hurt because you're not doing anything to help them on a practical basis. They don't understand why. What else are you saying to your Queen of Pentacles? That you can manifest success and victory if you take charge of the situation and actually do this. What is your person saying to you? Okay. King of Pentacles. So King or Queen of Pentacles, what she's saying to you is, well, at the moment, we're nice and financially stable. How much money is it going to take to actually do this? What she's saying is, we've worked really hard for every single penny that we have in the bank that we ploughed into this house. I'm just nervous that this is going to cost us more than we think. What else is she saying? I think I could work on this person emotionally and just let them know that we're there for you, we care about you, we think about you, you're not on your own. But Leo, you've already tried to do that and it hasn't worked. Basically, this Queen of Pentacles doesn't want to spend the money. So this is slightly awkward, Leo, because a Queen of Pentacles doesn't agree with doing this. But in the nicest sense, is because she wants to hang on to the money. You're realizing, Leo, that you really have to do this because otherwise this could get very unpleasant within a family dynamic, and you just can't bear that. You can't bear that. Leo, you've got such a big heart, right? You want to make sure everyone's happy. What are you saying to this Queen of Pentacles if she suggests, oh, we can just visit this person more, or we can tell this person we care? Yeah, no, you're not having any of it, guys. Page of Swords is, no, this isn't enough. We have to do something on a practical basis. All right, what is your Queen of Pentacles reply? Two of Pentacles. Well, maybe we should think about it. Maybe we should try and do this with only 2 pentacles. You know, let's not spend a load of money on this. Let's be careful about this. I think she's worried, Leo. But yes, you know, if you plough money into a house, it's going to increase its value. But if there's a situation where you need liquid cash, I don't know, for health reasons or change the car or something, you're not going to have the cash in the bank because the cash would have been sunk into the property. I think that's what she's worried about. What is the energy between you two? The Hermit, Virgo energy. This could relate to someone who is a Virgo that you're trying to help, Leo, or you're both doing a lot of soul searching about this independently. But I think you are absolutely determined to do this, because if you don't, Leo, what you're worried about is it could get really, really awkward. You could have an elderly parent feeling as if you don't care, or you could have a child who can't afford to support themselves, who feels as if you've shut them out. And Leo, you can't bear that. You can't bear that. So what I think you're hoping for is if you do this, everything will be balanced. But we do have a tower. We got a tower moment here. So let's have a look at the tower. Something shocking is going to happen. Okay, no. No, something shocking isn't going to happen. What you're blowing up in the nicest sense, Leo, is a sense of wanting to hang on to everything too tightly. The 9 of Cups can be overindulgence. This is you thinking, well, all right, we live in a beautiful big house. We've got a nice garden. We also want to keep money in the bank. What you're blowing up, Leo, in the nicest sense is you and your Queen of Pentacles being a little bit too nervous about money. What the divine is saying, Leo, is You cannot sit in what they believe is a slightly overindulgent energy while someone else here is really stressed out because they need help and you're not doing anything about it. I think what the divine is saying is this is the right thing to do, because in the past you might have been a little bit overindulgent, as in, we're not going to spend money on the house, we're not going to give this person any cash. No, right? What they're saying is, Leo, you're doing the right thing. What else are you realizing here? You're going to have to be a little bit more careful about your money. So no splurging, Leo. Anything else? Anything else? What else is the divine saying to Leo? Get on with it. Ace of Wands. This is actually the right thing you're doing. I feel with the Ace of Wands, Leo, this is the divine saying to you, get moving. Get moving. Don't sit on this for another 6 months. Get moving on this. This is a wonderful idea. You're sitting in inspiration. Roll with it and just start this process. How is your Queen of Pentacles feeling at this time? The Hangman. I think she's looking at things differently, Leo, and realizing that you're right. She could be a Pisces. How else is she feeling? She's just feeling a bit emotional with the energy of the moon. She's feeling a little bit emotional because she can't see into the future. This might be, in the nicest sense, a woman who's a little bit old school, who likes to have cash in the bank. She's hanging on to a house, right? Just in case anything happens. Leo, what you're saying to her is we can't think like that anymore because we have extended family who need us at this point of time. And I think she's understanding that, Leo. So what are you going to do from here on, guys? The Sun. Oh. Leo, you are growing, you are expanding, you are adding on to your house. You are also potentially contacting somebody who might live at a distance to say, don't worry, we're on the case. As in, we're building you a lovely new extension, mom or grandma, so you can move in. It's going to take a few months, but we're going to do that for you. Or you're reaching out to a child who could be older to say, Mum and Dad have got you, don't worry. We're either going to be able to give you a lump sum of money maybe next year, and it's going to be sizable because we're going to sell the house and give you the equity, or leave where you are, come home, give it 6 months so we can get the work done. We've got your room all organised. We're adding on a room for you so you can move out of your rental flat that you can't afford. Something like that. Leo, you feel everyone's going to be happy if you do this, and the divine is saying it's the right thing to do. So what else are you going to be doing here, guys? This is beautiful, Leo. All right, Page of Pentacles. Oh. Until you can completely change your person's situation, the person that's worried and stressed, until your mum or your grandma can move in, or your granddad, until your child can come back and live at home because you built on an annex, you're going to help them with a little bit more money. And then what? 10 of Pentacles. But we have here a picture of everyone chipping in, and they look as if they're building an extension. So Leo, I don't know, you could be renovating a big garage area and making it into another bedroom. You could be converting the attic. But yes, this is everyone pulling together because you're sitting on a house worth a fair amount with a lot of potential. And I think, Leo, you're realizing that now is the time to do something a little bit alternative, to do something a bit outside the box, to help someone who really needs your help. And this is you getting on with it, basically. This is a lovely energy, guys. Oh, and we have the 4th King. Beautiful. So Leo, you're coming through as the King of Wands, the King of Swords, the King of Cups, and the King of Pentacles. You're the Emperor. You're taking charge. You're doing the right thing. But the King of Wands is action. So this is you actually putting this plan into place, making sure you push it through, and communicating with those involved about making sure that this is done the right way, and also this is done relatively quickly, is what I'm getting. Do we have a final card for my lovely Leos? Guys, this is a beautiful reading. Oh, the star. It might be that there's a lot of emotion within the family. It may be that this is you realizing that by doing this, Leo, is going to heal what might have been an awkward family situation. You're also, Leo, going to be giving the good news to someone who is going to be incredibly grateful. This is lovely, guys. So, underneath the deck, Two of Cups, I think you and your wife are going to be celebrating, because what you're going to realize is it's brought a family situation, a family dynamic back together again. And if this Queen of Pentacles, who I think is here, okay, if this Queen of Pentacles in the past was a little bit nervous about doing this, she's going to realize, Leo, this was exactly the right thing to do. It sort of solved the issue, you know? All right, my lovely Leos, I hope this has helped one or two of you out there. As always, let me know in the comments this was your story. Take care of you, and I will be back before you know it with your next set of readings. See you soon. Bye, Leo.